Internet? It's Andrew Michael, and welcome to the Power Rangers Dino Fury Episode 8 review, where I will be going over what happened in this episode and giving you my overall thoughts. Also, shout out to my Patreons over on patreon.com/AndrewMichael2. For as low as $3 a month, you will get a shout out here on the channel. So shout out to the Patreons. I appreciate the support. So overall, I thought this was a pretty good episode. I did like the fact that Mick showed up and he really had like this awkward kind of comedy where it was like, you thought it was going to be straight and to the point, kind of like the comedy is just like, oh, it was good. Like, I actually genuinely enjoyed Mick in this episode. Kind of wish we see him more. So I'm interested to see whether we do see Mick more in Power Rangers Dino Fury or not. But that will be really cool to see. I like this episode. I didn't think it was like, oh my gosh, the greatest episode that they've done so far. But I think nonetheless, this is still a pretty solid show. So we start off with a Megazord fight, which is interesting. Like, normally, you know, we get our plot, the Rangers are off doing something, but we get to where they are fighting, I think it was Brimstar or something like that. I swear I think I've seen him earlier this season. They finish him off, and he turns to a Sporks. I'm not sure if the Rangers also got the Sporks or if the monsters did, but I digress. They beat him, but then Wolfgang showed up. No, not that Wolfgang. This Wolfgang, along with Void Knight, saw that there was a Megazord fight, so Wolfgang used his power to basically break down the Megazord. So the Rangers got out of that and fled. Meanwhile, while they were almost at base, we see Mick, who is a shapeshifter, which I had no idea he was a shapeshifter because I haven't watched Ninja Steel a lot, but I digress. Mick showed up and he was saying, hey, look, we gotta find this prism. And this prism basically controls and is linked to the morphing grid. I thought that was interesting, and we got more references to the comics as well with the morphing masters. I thought that was pretty cool nonetheless. So then we see that clip where it's like, you know, the Rangers don't believe Mick, so they're kind of standoffish, if you will. So basically, Zato's like, look, we understand what you're doing, but you gotta back off and let us do what we gotta do. So Mick's like, alright, fine. Then we go over to Buzz Blast, and we see, of course, where we see that Amelia and Javi are at work at Buzz Blast. And then we see that they were building a cake as well at Buzz Blast as well. Mick shows up trying to connect to the database. He gets caught while he's there, and of course he turned into a basketball, which is kind of funny, and it's like it ruined the cake and whatnot. I thought that was pretty interesting as well to see that. And then, of course, outside, Wolfgang's out there, and we see that basically Wolfgang spots Mick, and they understand what he's doing. So Wolfgang basically tries to go after him, trying to catch Mick. Meanwhile, the Rangers team up and try to fight Wolfgang. But the weird thing about it is that not only can Wolfgang destroy Megazords or like break them down, but he can also break down like the Power Rangers whenever they have their power-up modes with the power keys. He can break those off as well. And I thought that was an interesting touch for Wolfgang as well, because I did not think that that was going to be the power. I thought it was going to be like it kind of slows him down, unmorphs him. I thought nonetheless that was actually pretty cool. So then we see that Mick runs away to base, and we see that Mick connects to the database, and they find where this prism is, and it's near the lakefront, which is very interesting why it would be out in the open, and they said that as well. So they go to see it, and they get the backstory of what the prism is there for, and basically this prism was how the Ninja Steel Rangers got their powers as well, and it was given to them by the Morphing Master. So we got to see the red and green Morphing Master as well. I thought that was interesting, but also one fascinating thing is that we also got a flashback to Beast Morphers when Steel was going to finish off Evox. That was wildly interesting how they flashed back to that, because I did not think they were going to do that, and they said that that was the morphing grid as well, so they got a flashback to that. And we saw the beginning of Dino Fury, where we saw the Red and Pink Ranger and Blue Ranger getting together trying to fight Void Knight, if you saw in that first episode. Again, I thought that was really fascinating how we got like flashbacks to how the morphing grid worked. I thought that was really fascinating to see. And of course, two of the monsters of the week, Boom Tower and Wolfgang, show up and say, hey, we want that prism. But then the prism jumps into the lake, which was really interesting because I did not think that that was how that was going to go. I thought they were going to fight and then the Rangers figure out what this prism is there for. So regardless, we see that the 5 Rangers are fighting. Mick basically comes up with like a demarker, if you will. He throws it into Wolfgang's mouth so he can't use his power. And so because of that, the Rangers try to stop him. But then both Boom Tower and Wolfgang getting to their big versions, so we then also get to see a Megazord fight, which was actually pretty cool as well. We got to see a warrior version of the Megazord as well, so now we have seen all 5 different variations of the base Megazord, which I thought was actually pretty cool because we get 5 different versions. So I'm going to be interested to see what they do as an Ultra Megazord. That's going to be pretty cool as well. And then we see that the 2 big versions of the monsters get beaten up and they get destroyed back to their sporks forms. Mucus keeps up with Wolfgang, so she grabs Wolfgang using a baseball mitt. I thought that was pretty funny. And then we see that Mucus is also trying to grab Boom Tower sporks, but they fail because Izzy's there before she can grab it. So Izzy takes that one and Mucus takes that one back to base. The most fascinating thing at the end was that we now know why Void Knight wants all of this power, and it is to restore this lady that Void Knight says is mine. So it's almost like this queen for Void Knight, if you will. I thought that was wildly interesting. Like, the one thing I found interesting about this was like, why didn't they like show this at the beginning of Dino Fury in like episode 1 or 2, where it's like, why does Void Knight want all of this power? And now we finally know why, and it is to power up this person who might be his queen, if you will. So she'll basically be the human bad guy for Dino Fury, and I think that is kind of fascinating to see now why we are seeing this. And at the end we see that Mick is heading off to the universe trying to track down where this prism is going. So it's going to be interesting to see if or when we see more Mick again. Yes, I said interesting a lot, forgive me. Overall, I thought this was a good episode, and I thought it was solid. I didn't think it was the greatest episode, but I thought it was good. And you know what? I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 thumbs up. What did you think of this episode? Let me know down in the comment section down below. And until next time, I'm Andrew Michael, and I will see you in the next one. Go, go, Dino Fury. Also, thank God I don't have to wake up at 7 o'clock for a while now.